Good day, folks. Welcome back to Ed's Garage, and probably the most exciting day for me this year. This is the all-new Hyundai Ioniq 6, and even better, it's exactly the same as the one that I'm getting, hopefully this before this summer, before the spring. This is the Nocturne Gray Ioniq 6 Ultimate with all the goodies. So the reason this is on my lot right now is because our district manager is making her rounds and showing off the vehicle to the various dealerships in the area. And I have about an hour of which to film, so I'm going to do this video as quickly as I can. But man, am I excited. I cannot, I'm shaking. Like, I'm super excited. Let's go over this whole video, or a whole vehicle, and see what it's all about. All right, starting at the front end, this is pretty cool. I actually just saw the little air flaps open up here. Now, this vehicle is extremely slippery through the air. The Ultimate in North America, because it has the wing mirrors and not the cameras, this has a drag coefficient of 0.24. Yes, that's correct. If you've seen 0.22 or 0.21, that would be different trim levels and different markets. So Ultimate is 0.24 thanks to the wheels and the mirrors. However, lower trims, because they've got more aerodynamic wheels, are 0.22 with those mirrors. And then in other markets with the side view cameras, it's 0.21, which is a phenomenally low drag coefficient. Now, you can see just how slippery the front end is. I mean, look at this thing. Oh, God, it's so beautiful. All right, so we have projector headlights and their LED high beams and low beams. You got the cool pixel daytime running lights here in check this out, they're in amber color on the front. Now, don't worry about the little flashing. That doesn't actually happen in real life, guys. It actually says Ioniq 6 inside the headlight. I don't know if you can see that. Of course, the pixel theme is huge on this vehicle. There's pixels everywhere. Got a few on the front here as well. Now, right here, of course, is your forward-facing radar system for the autonomous emergency braking and adaptive cruise control. You got a front-facing camera because it does, of course, have the full 360 camera system. You've got forward parking sensors here. And check this out, the air kind of comes around, goes through here, and comes out over the wheels to create that curtain of air over the wheels to reduce aerodynamic drag. And look at this. So they're pretty smart about this. You see this little notch right here. They added a bit of trim in front of the wheel, sort of the leading edge of the bumper, to further reduce aerodynamic drag here. So that actually helped increase, I think they were saying about 0.01 drag coefficient, which is crazy just for that. Look at these wheels, guys. Now, this is a 20-inch aluminum alloy wheel. They look freaking awesome. Now, crazy, it's wrapped in Pirelli P0s, a performance tire. However, these specific Pirelli P0s and other Ioniq trims with the smaller wheels, these are actually designed for EVs specifically. So they reduce a little bit of noise, vehicle vibration, tire and road noise, because of the fact that check it out, they're designed for EVs, but they're still a performance tire. Coming down the side here, you can see we've got more pixels on the mirror. So that, of course, is for your turn signal. And you've got the camera underneath the mirror there as well. And, of course, blind spot monitoring. You got the sort of ground effects along the bottom here in a different color. Can you guys tell I'm excited? Holy moly. All right, coming around to the back, you can see we've got a sensor on the side here. And then parking sensors along the back. So there's a total of 6 sensors all around the back. All right, having a look at the very Porsche-esque rear of the vehicle. Check this out. So you've got the little lip on the back here and the spoiler. In the spoiler, of course, when you hit the brake lights, or when you hit the brakes, this all lights up. You got pixels in there as well. I'll try to get a picture of that. Down here, you got your backup lights, reflectors, also more pixels, and this beautiful LED bar that goes all the way across, again with those pixels. Let me show you the turn signals. All right, so that's what your turn signals look like. So I don't know what it looks like in the video here necessarily, but they are red. They didn't make them orange or anything like that. That's a bit of a shame, but still looks really cool. You have a power trunk. Check that out. Good sized trunk, actually. There's a good amount of storage in here. You do have a 60/40 split rear bench, tire mobility kit there because there's no spare on these. A little bit of extra storage down here as well. There's our charging cable. And then, of course, you have the button to put it back down again. There it goes. Now, one of the things that Hyundai designers have really liked to point out on this vehicle is how much attention to detail they went into when it came to vibration and noise and stuff like that. So reducing things like vibration from the suspension. These have a single piece solid connected axle to hub assembly, which is really cool. It's not like two pieces that can potentially move. So a little bit better handling, a little bit less vibration. Even the bushings that hold the lower control arms on the front and rear of the vehicle are fluid-filled bushings to further reduce noise vibration. Speaking of the suspension, the front struts are actually specially designed for the extra weight of the vehicle, because these, of course, are a little bit heavy. It's got a 77 kilowatt battery in it, but it's what they're calling a frequency-sensitive shock absorber. It's just faster at being able to adapt for different frequencies of vibration. Pretty cool technology. The linkage from the steering to the steering box has been completely redesigned to reduce vibration to the steering wheel. It's pretty cool. Even the carpet on this vehicle is different. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but to reduce road noise, they actually separated the carpet and the insulation underneath the carpet, thickened up the carpet as well to increase the amount of sound deadening. So redesigned carpet, redesigned steering column, redesigned suspension. I mean, I say redesign, but they're all different from the Ioniq 5. So this is not a carbon copy of the Ioniq 5 underneath. It actually is different and improved, and then of course a different body. As far as the size of the vehicle, this vehicle is longer than the Ioniq 5. Believe it or not, it's wider than a Hyundai Sonata, which is nuts because that's a big car. And yeah, as far as interior volume, obviously not as much as the Ioniq 5, but as you're going to see momentarily here, because I'm going to get it into the back seat, it's huge. I've put the front seat where I would drive, and let's jump into the back and see what kind of legroom we have, headroom and such. So as you can see, legroom, definitely not a problem. I've got tons of legroom. Headroom, I got just enough. I can stick my hand in between there. I'm not touching my head on the roof. And it's actually pretty wide, you know. I got a lot of space here. I mean, if somebody is sitting in the middle, yeah, it goes up a little bit. Now I'm touching my head on the roof. It's not terribly uncomfortable, but there's a lot of room beside me here for people to sit on either side. So this is a comfortable 5-seater vehicle. Of course, I do have a nice cushioned armrest, and I got USB-C ports right here, a little cubby hole for storage for a phone, and check this out. We have the 120 volt outlet, and it's currently locked. I can't open it up. But that is the vehicle to load. Now, this vehicle also has vehicle to load from the charging port as well, so that's kind of cool. Armrests are nice and cushioned, really nice material as well. We got heated seats, 2 levels for the outboard seats. Both of the seat backs are solid. Both of them have cargo nets. Nice little extra storage here for a cell phone or what have you. Storage down there. And of course, we do have the ambient lighting system. I'll see if I can post a picture up on the video here, what that looks like at night. Yeah, it's actually really comfortable. Man, I love this car. All right, before I jump into the front seat and go over all the stuff there, let's have a look at the charging port. Ooh, that's definitely a little easier to open than the Ioniq 5. So, of course, you have your level 1, 2, and your level 3 there. Little pixels here indicating the current charge status. And it looks like a hold button here for, oh, that's for timed charging. And then that's to close it. So on the Ioniq 5, they had a little bit of issues with the opening of this. You had to push pretty hard. This one, barely have to do anything. It works quite well. So that's cool. Now let's have a look at the frunk. So to access the frunk, we're just going to pull this handle here. Now, one nice thing about this one over the Ioniq 5 is that it doesn't have the secondary lid that you have to open up after you open up the hood. So there's our frunk. Very small, enough to put in, your level 1 charger, maybe the tire mobility kit, something like that. Basically, it seals up against this. So anything that's sticking out here, you got to be careful, but there's a lot of space between this and the actual outside of the hood. So if you damage this, not the end of the world. You do have some insulation on either side here still, which is kind of cool to see. Also in here, of course, you got your windshield washer fluid, motor and battery coolant. You got your brake fluid over here, fuse box, and the accessory battery, which is accessible by yanking this little thing off right here. Before I jump into the front, check out the size of the head-up display screen. It's huge. You do have the automatic wiper sensor there and a forward-facing camera. Oh, it just picked up my hand and thought it was rain, I guess. Let's jump into the front seat. Now, before I go into this one, I'm going to show you the passenger side on this, the Ultimate trim. All right, so does the passenger get some luxury? Yes, they absolutely do, in the form of a power seat with lower back support, so that's nice. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-way adjustable power passenger seat. And man, these seats are even nice. Look at this, it got a little bit of color there. So let's check out the front driver section here. First off, I want to talk about the door panel. Check this out. So you have basically a handle stretching all the way. So if you're a little bit shorter, you're having trouble reaching the door handle, no fretting, because it's, you can pull it right there. The actual panel itself is quite textured, and the reason for that is so that it reflects the light from the ambient lighting. And look at this. This is actually somewhat translucent. You can see my fingers in behind there. And when the ambient light shines down there, it looks really, really cool. As far as the driver's seat on this vehicle, so same like the passenger side, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with lower back support. So still 10-way adjustable driver's seat. Look at the pedals here while we're down here. You get the minus and the plus. So plus increased speed, minus decreased speed. Nice aluminum or steel pedals, looks really cool. Up here you've got some buttons. You got your power e-brake, of course. This one does have power folding mirrors, so that's cool. There they go. Mirror controls. You've got your charge door you can open up from here. Traction stability control, you can open up the trunk. And then of course your dashboard lighting level is there. Looking at the center console, again, you got more of that translucent material here. Well, there's a ton of space in here, lots of storage, and of course you have your 12-volt power outlet there as well for convenience. All right, so let's have a seat inside the Ioniq 6. Oh man. Okay, so absolutely no problem with headroom, no problem with legroom. There's a ton of both. And now keep in mind, I am 6'2". I'm probably going to lean the seat back just a touch like that. There we go. I'm going to raise the seat all the way up so you can see the difference in height from all the way down to all the way up. Oh, now I'm touching the ceiling. So there you go. So that's a good, 3.5 inches of movement there. It's not bad, guys, for a sedan. Yep, tilted seat. I'm going to move the seat all the way back now. You can see how far my legs stretch out. So there we go. So at this point, like, if I stretch my leg out, I can put it on the dead pedal, but I'm way too far back now. And there's still a lot of room behind me when necessary if you have long legs and you have passengers in the back. All right, let's talk about some of the features in this very, very feature-rich model. Okay, we're going to start on the left side and kind of move across to the right. We've already talked about those buttons down there. By the way, if you're wondering what these little wingtips are, in other markets where they have the cameras instead of the mirrors, they're actually a screen right here that'll show you what's in your camera view. So that's what that's all about. All right, on the left stock, of course, you got your headlights. You do have automatic headlights and automatic high beams. You can leave the headlights in the full on position so you have taillights during the day as well. When you shut the car off, everything turns off anyway. On the right-hand side, you can see we have our mirror or our wiper stock. Of course, no rear wiper on this one, but you do have auto wipers, as I mentioned. And anytime you change a setting, guys, it does show you in this screen which setting you're on. Same for the headlights. On the steering wheel, this is very, very different for me. Check this out. So we have our drive controls here. So our cruise control, adaptive cruise control, distance, lane departure assist, lane keep assist, and this is new. So instead of having a rocker switch for the instrument cluster screen, we have a little scroll wheel. And we do so on the other side here for the volume as well. I really like that. That's cool. It's so much quicker. Now this button here is going to cycle between the different things on the instrument cluster. And this one's going to go up and down within those things on the instrument cluster. This is also an OK button. So if I press this in, it'll go into things or reset things. So if I go into, let me see here. If I go into here, it says hold OK for settings. If I hold OK now, it's going to bring up the settings menu on the instrument or on the infotainment screen right over there. Super cool. Of course, we have different drive modes as well, and if we change the drive mode, just like the Ioniq 5, we get those various different looks on the instrument cluster here. And we also have hold for snow. So if I hold the drive mode button down, it puts it into snow mode, and then if I press it again, it goes back into where it was before. Now, I know I haven't discussed range yet because, well, quite frankly, in Canada, there isn't actually an official range estimate yet. However, it's expected that the rear-wheel drive long range, well, there's only going to be a long-range battery in the Ioniq 6 in Canada anyway. We're only getting the 77 kilowatt battery. So the rear-wheel drive is supposed to be somewhere around 580 kilometers. This with the bigger wheels on it, the ultimate trim, high 400s, and then basically the all-wheel drive with the smaller wheels on it will be somewhere around 530 from what I understand. So it makes no difference. I mean, anything over 400 is going to be more than adequate for most people out there. Charging times on this is very similar to the Ioniq 5. So as quick as 18 minutes if you're on a 250 kilowatt station or higher. Keep in mind your mileage may vary. If your battery is cold, it's going to take a little bit longer. Some stations, unfortunately, can't handle that type of speed consistently for a very long time. And of course, there's also a charging curve that varies dependent on a lot of different things. This vehicle is, however, equipped with a pre-warming on the battery. So if you navigate to a fast charging station, it's capable of warming the battery up to prepare it for when you get there. So that's pretty cool. All right, so skipping through to the other side, I can't ignore these. Now, this is the 4-pixel Morse code symbol for H. So the letter H is basically 4 dots in Morse code, but you'll notice these are kind of flashing on the camera. They don't actually flash in real life unless it's trying to tell you something. So right now it's all blue. That means you're good to go. I think if I put the car into sport mode, I think they changed color here. Let me try that. Still blue. There we go. So sport mode, you saw the little red things going across there. That's super cool. Eco mode, it kind of goes green. And this also will give you an indication of the battery level when you're charging. So that's pretty neat. On the right-hand side here, we've got our voice recognition. Now, of course, there is built-in voice recognition. Well, we're not going to bother with that right now. You have the mode button here to switch between different sources of audio. The little rocker button here is to go to next preset or previous preset or next song, previous song. Your volume button here is also a mute button if you press it in, and a customizable button for the stereo system as well. So if I press that the first time, it's going to give us the option to choose what we want it to do. We generally put that on reject or end phone call. There's also the button to answer a call right there, of course. All right, skipping across over to the center console. So let's have a look at the space in here. So we've got a couple of USB ports down here, USB-C, a reasonable amount of storage space as well. We've got a little bit of a cubby hole here. We have the controls for the windows here. Now it is auto up and down on the front 2 windows, not on the rear 2 windows. You've got the window lock switch. You've got the auto hold button here, so that basically stops the vehicle from moving when you take your foot off the brake after you've come to a stop at a stoplight or whatever. Your door controls, so central locking system, just the 2 buttons there for that. Look at the key fob. Check this out. Looks like a Hyundai H, which is super cool. But it does have remote start, and of course, when it detects that the vehicle or that the key is in the vehicle, it comes to life at that point as well. You got your cup holders here, a wireless charging pad there. That's pretty neat. So that's different than previous looks. USB port here for the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Because it is still wired on this vehicle. We're not sure exactly what's going on with the software company that produces the software for this, but it is still just wired connection for the Apple CarPlay Android Auto. But don't fret, you can get a little device. It's about $70, $80 for a cheap one that you plug into the USB port to give you wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. So that technology does exist. We have above that the climate control. So it does have the 3 levels of automatic climate control. If we hit the climate button here, that actually brings up the climate control information up on the screen here, and it is something you can adjust from the screen. So not only can you do it down here, but you can do it up here. If you want to turn on the heated seats, ventilated seats, or the heated steering wheel, you can press this button here. That takes you into that screen. So from here, of course, we can now turn on and off the heated seats. We can, of course, turn on the heated steering wheel as well. Now, back to the climate screen here, I want to show you a couple cool things. So if we look at some of the climate settings, you can actually have it put the recirculate on when you use your washers, wiper washer, or when it enters a tunnel. So if you're going through a tunnel, because this vehicle has the built-in navigation, it knows where there are tunnels. So as soon as you drive through a tunnel, it turns on the recirculate, so you don't have to smell the gross tunnel. We've got automatic dehumidify, smart ventilation, auto defrost, defog, AC automatic drying. This is great. So that's going to help prevent the buildup of mildew in the climate control system. And you also have the eco mode for the climate control, which honestly works just fine. I get a lot of questions about the climate control and how much energy it uses. Believe it or not, a lot of people are worried about how long they're going to be able to sit in traffic for, with the climate control on, if it's hot or cold out or whatever. When the climate has reached the temperature that you've set it for, it actually uses very little energy. This has got a heat pump. It's only going to be using about a half a kilowatt to a kilowatt of energy. Now, if you consider the fact that you have 77 kilowatt hour battery, that means that on a full charge, you could literally sit there for 77 hours or more, and be comfortable. So you don't have to worry about getting stuck in traffic with an EV. Also to note on the climate control, it is dual zone. So of course the passenger can have their own temperature. And it looks like they've actually eliminated the driver only option. And that's cool because honestly, it made such a small amount of difference. It just wasn't necessary. All right, let's look at some other stuff before we look at the screens. Note that there is a strip of ambient lighting here. So currently it's blue. That can be changed. There are 64 potential colors there. In North America, unfortunately, we don't get the drawer for the glove box. However, you can see it's very, very big. It's a very deep glove compartment, so lots of space in there. Bose audio system. So you can notice we got the tweeters up there. This is going to be, I believe, a 10 speaker system. It's got the center channel and the subwoofer on the rear there. You can see right there is where the subwoofer is. We do have a very large regular sunroof. Now, this is not a panoramic sunroof, but it is actually quite large. And it does have the power shade, so that's cool. And as you can see, it's a really wide one too. It comes right out just within a few inches of the handles here. And of course, this car being as wide as it is, I have to reach over to grab the door. There's the door there. So you can see it's a very, very wide vehicle. And the sunroof isn't, a regular size. It's wider because of that as well. Now, it does, of course, also have an auto-dimming rear view mirror and HomeLink garage door and gate buttons there. We have BlueLink, of course, so you've got call for roadside assistance, call for emergency assistance, and then, of course, your lighting buttons right here. Now, BlueLink in Canada is free for 3 years. What you can do with it is you can remote start the climate control of the vehicle, check the battery level, start and stop charging. When you remote start, I think you can even turn on the heated seats, the ventilated seats, and steering wheel, which is pretty cool. And of course, you can find the vehicle on a map, unlock the doors, lock the doors, all from your cell phone. But it also includes emergency services. So if you get into an accident, it calls emergency services for you automatically. And there's, of course, the SOS button up there to call for emergency services when you see an emergency. So yeah, all of that included for free for 3 years. After which time, the price is going to be somewhere between $10 to $30, depending on which level of service you ask for. Now, one thing I forgot to point out, this vehicle does have different user accounts, and it also has the memory seating and mirrors. So you got the 2 buttons here for 2 different drivers, so that controls mirrors, seating position, lighting level, that sort of thing. But when you remote start the car from your cell phone, if you've done so with a specific account, it'll enable that account right away here. Now, the user accounts thing, that'll set up your climate control, your presets on the radio, stuff like that. But before we get into that one, let's have a look at this screen here. So this is our 12-inch instrument cluster screen. And as you saw before, there's a little bit of customizability. When we put it in different drive modes, you can see it changes and looks a little bit different. But also, you have the ability to change what's in the center of the screen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these buttons right here, the little scroll wheel, the OK button, and this button. This top button will cycle along the top edge here. You can see the different icons, and it'll cycle from left to right. So starting at the left, we have our drive info screen. So this is where you can see, if there's cars in front of you or whatnot. This vehicle is equipped with Highway Drive Assist 2.0, and you'll actually see other vehicles showing up here as you're driving. Now, the Highway Drive Assist 2.0 is pretty cool. When you use your turn signal on the highway or whatnot, it will actually go to that other lane for you. You can do a lot of hands-off driving. They do recommend that you do keep your hands on the steering wheel, however, but it's able to do that. Now, also when you're cruising down the highway with cruise control on, highway drive assist, it's got the adaptive cruise control as well, of course. And as you approach a vehicle on your right-hand side, this vehicle automatically kind of go to the left a little bit just to give them a bit extra space, and vice versa. Pretty neat. All right, next screen over, we have the drive info screen. So this is from when this vehicle was turned on most recently. So it's been running for 42 minutes. And if I scroll down, we have since our last recharge, we're getting average 20.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And if I go onto the accumulated info, this is the one that you can reset anytime you want just by holding the OK button. So 19.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and then trip computer, timer, that sort of thing. Keep in mind that your mileage will vary. It's going to depend on the driver and the conditions. And as you can see right here, it's only 9 degrees Celsius right now. And obviously this vehicle was driven here earlier this morning. So that range is, or that efficiency is going to be a little bit different, a little bit lower right now, just because of the fact that it's chilly out. All right, next one over is our compass. Now, if we use the voice recognition, find the nearest Walmart.
"20 results found.
2.
Would you like guidance?
Yes. Huh, she sounds a little bit different. Also seems a little bit quicker as well. But anyway, so now we have our turn-by-turn directions here, as well as, so that's the turn-by-turn directions, and then as well as the distance and time to our destination. So that's kind of cool. So next screen over is our tire pressure monitor and our all-wheel drive info screen. Now this vehicle, of course, is all-wheel drive. Now, what it's going to do is as you accelerate, it's going to put power to all 4 wheels. But as you approach the speed that you want to go, it'll taper off to just rear-wheel drive. Now, unlike almost every other EV out there, with the exception of the Hyundai and Kia and Genesis products, this vehicle is capable of completely decoupling the front drive motor from the drive wheels. And what's nice about that is extra efficiency, of course. So as it gets to speed and it puts power to the rear wheels and takes it away from the front, it decouples that. So you're not, moving along this extra rotational mass, which is, one of the reasons why this vehicle is so efficient. Yeah. So just to give you an example of one of the ways that they increased the efficiency of this vehicle. And also I should mention on the electric drive motors, the single reduction gearbox is actually built into the drive motor as well. So further reducing weight. So they've redesigned how electric motors and reduction gears are coupled. Usually it's 2 separate parts. On these vehicles now, it's just one part that has everything contained in it. So again, more efficient as well, of course. All right, also on this screen, you can see our current range. We have, or our current battery level, sorry, it's 61%. It's nice that they actually show a percentage. Our range till empty, which is up here, 290 kilometers. Our speedometer, so we're currently in eco mode. We got the temperature there, and we're in level 1 drive. So this vehicle has 3 levels of regenerative braking. So I've put it into drive here and pulled the left paddle. It's going to increase that level. So you can see we're now in level 3. And if I pull it one more time, it puts it onto I pedal. So I pedal is the same level of regeneration as level 3. However, when you get to about 10-20 kilometers an hour, it continues to slow down and it comes to a complete stop. If I pull the right paddle, it reduces it, and we can go all the way down to level 0. So I guess there's technically 4 levels of regenerative braking if you want to include the fact that there's a level 0, but yeah, that's how that works. And of course we do have the auto parking brake, as you see there. It applied the parking brake automatically because I put the vehicle into park, so I didn't actually have to pull the little handle here. It also takes the e-brake off automatically when you put the vehicle into drive or reverse. So that's pretty much it for that screen. Speaking of reverse though, let's put it into reverse. Now, we have a 360 camera system, top-down view. We have dynamic steering lines, as you can see. It shows the swing of the front of the car as well, which is always nice. Look at the quality of this. I mean, this is a great resolution. One of the most fun things about this, though, is check this out. We have the 360 camera, which also shows us an animated version of the car, which also, check it out, even the steering wheel, when you turn it, it moves the wheels on the little image there. And if you actually move the car, it'll also show you that the wheels turn. Oh, I'm not allowed to drive this car though, guys. All right, so there's our front-facing camera that just came up. And by the way, you can turn the camera on by pressing the P button right here. So there we go. So I just turned the camera on, and now I can actually see the camera. I'm just currently in park, so I'm just looking what's behind us when I press that P button. However, I put the car in drive, and it'll switch to the forward-facing camera for parking. All right, so because I don't have a whole lot of time, I'm going to link in the description below an in-depth analysis to the 12-inch screen that's on the Palisade. If you want to get more information about what this system can do, please check that out. But I'm going to show you just the sort of things that are specific to the Ioniq 6, well, and 5. So this is the same system, same 12-inch screen. You got the time over here, battery range till empty, a little bit of an indicator as to what's going on with your navigation system. You got quick access to the weather, which is nice. So that brings up the weather forecast, and it keeps the map on the right-hand side here, or whatever else you want. You can kind of scroll through that stuff there. But if I go back to the home screen, we also have the EV screen on the Ioniq 6 because, of course, it is an EV. And one of the things I really like showing is the energy information. So if I go to the energy information, electricity use, you can see how much energy everything is using. So currently the drivetrain is not using anything, so we're not moving. Climate control is only using 0.16 of a kilowatt right now, which is very, very low. Ignore the percentages here because that's based on since I've started the car. Obviously, I haven't driven anywhere yet. Electronics, 0.3. So yeah, you could really sit there for a very, very long time. And, you know, this battery will last a long time. Now, we also have, I showed you the warmer ventilation and climate section. Got valet mode for if you're handing over the keys to a valet driver, so it kind of reduces the access to the system. Quiet mode, which limits the volume in the front and shuts off the speakers in the back. You got HD radio data, which is radio station dependent. So if your radio station isn't providing anything, you're not going to see anything in here either, but that's what that is. Of course, it does have BlueLink, as I mentioned. That's where it's getting the weather from right now. So the BlueLink account is actually set up on this vehicle. So it'll show you the weather in the area that you're in. You can check vehicle diagnostics. You can go to your maintenance reminders, and of course, change your BlueLink settings there as well. Map has multiple functions, so you can see the map in 3Ds. Now, when it's in 3D view, in certain areas, you'll actually see three-dimensional buildings as well. And on the mapping system, you can put things like the traffic, you can have the street signs, that sort of thing. It'll also warn you of construction traffic and stuff like that coming up on your route. But we also have a head-up display, which I'm going to zoom in on here. Hopefully you can see that well. So you'll notice that I've got my speedometer, I've got a traffic sign right on the right there, and then I've also got the turn-by-turn directions coming up. Now, not only can you have those three things, let me show you what else it'll do. If we go into the vehicle setup here and go to vehicle, head-up display, display control, I can move the display for the head-up display up and down. I can increase the brightness, and I can change the content. So I can see my turn-by-turn directions, driving convenience info, which is like lane keep assistance, adaptive cruise information, that sort of thing. And also the blind spot safety information and what's currently playing on the radio. All of that is in there. You can also change things like, here's your digital key. Not sure if this is going to work in Canada yet, but you can change the ambient lighting. So this is pretty cool. Check this out. So we have, let's see, color. So we have different colors for the ambient lighting. I can go to custom color as well. Sync lighting with speed, link to drive mode. First, we can also enable and disable your headlight delay and high beam assistance and all that stuff. All right, I can see the district manager making her way back to the car, so I think I've unfortunately run out of time to spend in this beautiful vehicle. So I'm going to end the video there. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're excited about this car as I am, don't forget to mention that in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.